I remember the day I told them. The sky was clear, but inside me, a storm had been brewing for years. I had finally mustered the courage to speak my truth, to share what I'd been dreaming about in secret for so long. I was trembling, my voice barely above a whisper, but I knew I had to say it. I wanted to become a professional artist. My family's reactions hit me like a punch to the gut. They laughed, not kindly, not with encouragement, just cold, dismissive laughter. My mother's eyes narrowed as she scoffed. "You're kidding, right? An artist? That's a joke. It's a hobby, not a career. You're wasting your life." My father shook his head, his face etched with disappointment. "We're meant for better things than that. You're embarrassing us with this ridiculous dream." My siblings? They rolled their eyes, sneering, telling me I was delusional, that I'd never make it. Every joke, every sneer, felt like a blow to my heart. They told me I was foolish, that I was chasing a pipe dream, that I'd fail, and when I did, I'd be nothing but a disgrace to the family. But deep inside, I knew I couldn't let go. Art was my passion, my escape, my voice, my reason for waking up each morning with hope. So I packed my bags that night, with trembling hands and a heavy heart, and left. I moved to a city that never sleeps, a place where artists struggled, where dreams often drowned in the noise. I slept in tiny apartments, ate cheap ramen, and poured every ounce of my soul into my craft. I painted until my fingers bled, submitted my work to galleries, entered competitions, and slowly, painfully, I started to build something real. Every rejection was a dagger, every criticism a storm I had to weather. But I refused to give up. Years passed. The journey was brutal, but I kept going. I faced moments of despair, times I thought about quitting, about giving up on my dream entirely. But then I remembered their faces, their laughter, their dismissiveness. I owed them nothing. I was determined to prove that I was more than their expectations, more than their insults. And then, one day, it happened. My work was recognized. An influential gallery took a chance on me. My paintings, raw, emotional, fierce, began to sell. Crowds started to notice. Critics called my art powerful, authentic, fearless. I was invited to exhibitions across the country. I was finally making a name for myself. The success didn't come overnight, but it came. And when it did, I felt a surge of triumph, an affirmation that I had been right all along. I wasn't a joke. I wasn't embarrassing the family. I was creating something meaningful, something real. But the real test was still to come. I decided it was time to return home, not just to visit, but to show them what I'd become. To face their skepticism, their disbelief, their condescending smirks. I wanted them to see that I had built a life from nothing, that I had turned their doubt into my fuel. The day of my arrival, I pulled into the driveway of the house I once called home. Nothing had changed on the outside, same peeling paint, same unkempt yard, the porch where they used to sit and judge me. But inside, I had changed everything. I stepped out of the car, dressed in a simple but elegant outfit, carrying a portfolio of my latest work. I was nervous, but also determined. I needed them to see the woman I had become, the woman I had fought so hard to be. They came out to greet me, eyes narrowing as they took in my appearance, my confident stance. My mother's face was unreadable, my father looked skeptical, and my siblings looked like they were ready to dismiss me again. But I didn't give them the satisfaction. I held up my portfolio and said, "I've come to show you something." I led them into the living room, where I spread out my paintings, powerful, evocative pieces that told stories of struggle, hope, pain, and triumph. Each stroke was a testament to years of perseverance. I watched their faces as they saw my work, some surprised, some uncomfortable, but gradually, something shifted. My mother's eyes welled with tears as she looked at a painting of a stormy sea, a metaphor for my journey. My father's jaw tightened, but there was a flicker of something I couldn't quite read. My siblings looked stunned, silent for once. I finally spoke, voice steady. "This is what I've been working on all these years. I didn't do it to embarrass you or to prove you wrong. I did it because I couldn't ignore the call inside me. I wanted to create, to be seen as more than just your daughter or your sister. I wanted to stand here today and show you that I am exactly who I was meant to be." There was a long silence. Then my mother reached out, her voice trembling. "We never saw this coming. We thought your dream was foolish. We thought it was a joke, but I see now it's more than just a dream, it's your life." My father nodded slowly. "You've proven us wrong. We were blind to your talent, to your passion. We're sorry." And in that quiet moment, I felt an overwhelming wave of emotion. Not anger, not bitterness, but a deep, cathartic release. I had come back not just to show my family my success, but to remind myself of how far I'd come. I had fought every doubt, every rejection, every mocking word. I had turned a ridiculous dream into a reality. As I packed up my paintings to leave, I looked back at them, standing there in stunned silence. I realized that true victory isn't just about making it. It's about returning to those who doubted you and showing them what's possible when you refuse to give up. I walked to my car, head held high, knowing I had won in a way they never expected. I had become the woman I always knew I could be, strong, fearless, unapologetically myself. And as I drove away from that house, I felt a quiet power settle over me. A promise that no matter what anyone says, I will always chase my dreams, no matter how impossible they seem. Because in the end, the greatest victory is not just in succeeding, but in proving that you are worth everything, even when everyone else says you're nothing.